Hello everyone, I am John Inch Morgan, your instructor for Macroeconomics 2020. This short video is your introduction to macroeconomics and some of the basic concepts we'll use to analyze economic topics. Economics is not what most people think. Economics is more about the choices we make as participants in the economy rather than the mechanics of money moving around in an economic system. To begin, we need to understand that we live in a world of limits. Limited resources and unlimited wants and needs. Because we cannot have or do everything we want, we need to discover how to optimize our limited resources. While many think that the study of economics is about money, the stock market, investments, and government budgets, economics is the study of choices. It is the choices that we make as individuals and collectively as participants in an economic system. Yes, our choices use money as a measurement of the progress and decline of the economy, but it is the choices of individuals and households, of local and state governments, that determine our economic well-being. In a market economy, individuals have ownership and control over the factors of production and can choose how to best utilize these resources. The factors of production include labor, raw materials and land, capital assets that are used to make other things, and entrepreneurship. Individuals who own these resources can choose to sell these resources to entrepreneurs to make goods and services in the economy. The prevailing economic questions for all economies is how to optimize these limited resources. To choose one economic path means we forfeit another. While scarcity of resources is a prevailing topic among many economists, for me the intrigue of economics is finding ways to optimize the constraints of scarcity. Constraint optimization is essential to a successful growing economy. Dwight D. Eisenhower framed the deployment of scarce resources using a classic example trade-off of guns and butter. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. This world in arms is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, the hope of its children. The cost of one modern heavy bomber is this: a modern brick school in more than 30 cities. It is 2 electric plants serving a town of 60,000 population. It is 2 fine, fully equipped hospitals. It is some 50 miles of concrete pavement. We pay for a single fighter plane with 500,000 bushels of wheat. We pay for a single destroyer with new homes that could have housed more than 80,000 people. This is not, I repeat, the best way of life to be found on the road the world has been taking. It is not a way of life at all. In any true sense, under the cloud of threatening war, it is the humanity hanging from a cross of iron. These plain and cruel truths define the peril and point the hope that comes with this spring of 1953. This is one of those times in the affairs of nations when the gravest choices must be made if there is to be a turning toward a just and lasting peace. It is a moment that calls upon the governments of the world to speak their intentions with simplicity and with honesty. It calls upon them to answer the question that stirs in the hearts of all sane men: is there no other way the world may live? In the aftermath of World War I, which many labeled the Great War and the war to end all wars because of the great carnage and destruction, the United States and many other nations shifted the productive capacity to consumer goods away from high levels of military production. In shifting those resources, consumer goods and services were limited, and the distribution was controlled by rationing the limited goods and services available to civilian consumers. Here are examples of the rationing books that were distributed to households. The trade-off between the production and availability of military versus consumer goods can be shown in this graph. The quantity of military ships, planes, guns, fuels, and food is shown on the vertical axis, while the production and quantity of civilian consumption of food, automobiles, clothing, and fuel is shown on the horizontal line. The orange line is called the production possibility curve, or sometimes the production possibility frontier. At any point on the orange line is an indication of the full production of all available resources. All labor, land, capital, and entrepreneurship is fully employed. The orange line shows trade-offs that can be made. Here, the quantity of butter or consumer goods is relatively high, while the production of guns or military goods is relatively low. This may be reflective of the production and consumption of the United States during the 1920s between World War I and World War II. With the U.S. involvement in World War II, the production shifted from consumer goods to military goods, with all available resources shown on the orange line. More guns and less butter was this choice. The production possibility curve is a useful tool in illustrating trade-offs or opportunity costs. If we classified all production in the U.S. in two categories, recreational activities or video games, and life-sustaining activities or food, we can show the sacrifice in food production as we shift labor and materials to the production of recreation, or trading off leisure time for the production of necessities. We can also show how new production improvement in one classification will increase production in one classification while not reducing the other. In this case, new technology in farm equipment will increase food production while not diminishing the productivity in video games or recreation. On the other hand, we can show growth in the economy with a rightward shift of the curve as we increase our resources. Increases in labor, for example, in all industries would cause the economy to grow. More workers, more consumers results in a growing economy. The production possibility curve represents the terms of trade, or trade-offs. How would you draw your production possibility curve if you determined that you must earn an A in each class, both math and economics? Every choice we make in this world has an opportunity cost. An opportunity cost of education, an opportunity cost for elimination of diseases, an opportunity cost to have a green line, and there's an opportunity cost on what we eat. Take a few minutes and identify what those opportunity costs are for each of these 5 categories. In Canvas, you will find our Week 1 assignment. There are actually 2 parts to the assignment this week. Each week throughout the semester, you will have assignments you must complete. For this first week, there are actually 2 parts to the assignment. This part will be submitted on Canvas. The second part is a short 6-answer quiz, and that is multiple choice. My phone number is 801-554-0437.